Well, howdy there, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Man-O-Rama. Tonight, we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts of cooking meat. The process of, as I have a friend in the background cooking, prepping something delicious. Tonight, I wanted to talk about the actual ways of cooking meat and what your type of meat is, and like what are the proper ways of like what kind of meat goes with what type of meat goes with well with a drink or vice versa, stuff like that. And I have a good panel that are here and ready to have a lot of fun to talk about how not to be a simp, um, and why we love meat. So let's get this party started. It's gonna be a lot of fun, shall we? Yes, welcome guys, welcome guys. Welcome to Man-O-Rama, the 76th anniversary of the Oscars that are not that's every time I say 76 now, it always going to be like the Oscars. For some reason that pops in my head. I was like, "No, it's not the Oscars." No, it's not, man.
I want you
But
Golden Globes.
Golden Globes. You know what? We'll go with Broadway, whatever that's called, the Tonys.
Tony.
Right. The
No
show
one
that
cares.
nobody really cares and nobody knows about.
Right? Oh
Yeah.
man. Let's go around the table. I have some really cool guys that are on. You guys know them. You know their faces. Except Ordy, we don't know. He's part of probably. Ordy, are you part of the Amish Mafia? Blink once for yes and blink two for no.
On the advice of my attorney, I cannot answer that question. I'm going to invoke my Fifth Amendment rights.
Well played. Ordy, how's your week been?
My week's been pretty awesome. Been back to work after the appendicitis and everything. And, it's warming up out here in California. It's actually getting a little warm. I'm just really tired of the cottonwood trees having sex in my eyes. My allergies are going fucking nuts. My ears are too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did not consent to that. You did not
I
consent.
did not consent to that. Yeah.
Canadian Spider-Man.
Yeah, sir.
How's your week doing?
It's been fantastic. The peas in the garden are up about that high. The pumpkins are up about that high as well. Everything's doing well. Yeah, doing a bit of firewood prep and automotive maintenance, and getting my RV ready to go. So it's been a great week. So far, so good. Yeah, I've been attending some campfires, bonfires, and birthday parties.
Very nice, fancy. Mike.
Joe Zamboni as well.
You don't say.
Really?
Mike, how's your week been?
It's been interesting. It's been an interesting week so far. Yeah, lots of stuff going on. Trying to keep ahead of it all. Got caught in the rain before I got here, so because the daughter loves rain. So had to make that happen. And so I'm quite moist right now in the right places.
Ooh.
So
Okay, I have to do this. No.
moist. And which is quite appropriate because we're talking about meat. So there we go. Nothing more moist than meat.
Well, hello.
Yes.
Salisbury.
The man who just put food in front of the camera, which looked like I don't know what the heck. What
Steak. Salisbury.
how's your week doing, and what are you making?
Well,
or what are you
Salisbury
eating?
Steak, mashed potatoes and carrots. I figured, hey, it's about food. I might as well get my supper in now. So, but no. How's the week? Busy. Finished a podcast recently. It'll debut on Saturday. You guys ever watch a show called Bikes and Beers off YouTube? There's the bearded mechanic of Bikes and Beers.
No.
He's
Sounds good.
He repairs bikes. There's Sean and Craig. Amazing show. These guys, they work on motorbike repairs all the time. I love their show. And just fun to watch. Restoring old bikes and everything. Such a good show. But that's about it, really. Just keeping busy.
My week has been dealing with allergies, but it's been good.
Yes, Steve. How was
it's,
your week?
Yeah, it's that time of the year. Yeah.
I was going to say we should have asked.
Yeah.
No one asks how my week's doing. No one, whatever.
We do
How
care.
was your week,
Care.
Steve?
We care.
Um,
We
my
love you,
week
brother.
is so I've been working with drywall for like the past few weeks, or like, and
That's
also
what you call
desks and-
Gary?
Yeah.
What?
That's what you call Gary? That's your pet name for Gary? Drywall?
No.
Drywall.
No, we're working on this place and this kind of like corporate company, and they want a remodel of this one place, and we've been dealing with also the pipes, getting the water pipes in to get them leaked, and I'm kind of new to a lot of things. I got pushed in a few months ago with one guy that we're working with, and he actually like pushed me in to like do these things. I'm like, all right, cool, and I did pretty good. I was like, all right, I think I'm good at doing construction now. 4 years, and I fixed the water pipes, and I was very proud of myself because it kept on leaking. We had issues with it, and I finally did it. And I was like, I told Gary, I was like, I fixed them. Like, you know how like you've done something, you've accomplished something, you're just like, yes. I know how to drywall really good. I hate drywall. It's one of the worst things possible. So even Gary, when I was sweeping, I was dealing with allergies. He's like, wear a effing mask.
It's
Just
the
wear it.
worst.
And
Drywall.
with me, I hate wearing a mask because of the coup flu. I worked at a coffee shop at the time, and so I had to wear a stupid little thing over my face. So I have breathing problems now because of that.
Right.
And so with allergies, it's just like multiply it by 2, and it's like, geez. But it happens. But my week's been okay. It's been a little drawn out, but it's gonna be good. I think Memorial Day or whatever is Labor Day or whatever is next weekend. I'm gonna be relaxing. I did get the chance to buy my gun, and then turns out you need a birth certificate or a passport, which I didn't know. I thought you meant only if. How I read it was if you don't have a state ID or a driver's license, you need these things.
Huh.
I thought it was all good. So it's taking me a little bit longer to get my gun. In YouTube terms, it is a pew pew.
Yeah.
So we are both on Rumble, YouTube, and X. There is a poll. If you are following me or following any of these guys, they can retweet it or re-X it or whatever you want to call it. I have a couple polls out right now.
Nobody calls it X. Stop it.
What? No one calls it X?
Nobody calls it X. Stop it.
They call it family.
They call it stop it.
It's the first poll is the best meat, since we're talking about meat in general. Chicken, beef, pork, or venison. And then the next one, this is my favorite poll. Worst meat. We have tofu, and tofu. Good luck.
Ooh, that's a hard
I don't know
one.
how you're gonna decide on that one.
Jeez.
I don't know who's gonna win. I don't know. CEO Franco Juan Guerrero. Man, I can't do words now. I'm gonna be getting a SIG P320. That's what I'm getting. Yeah, because we're cool like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's cheap and it's not cheap at the same time.
True.
Question for you, Steve. Now, would venison be deer? That would be classified. That's venison, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, then I've had
Anything.
it
So
I
I'll
like
clarify.
it.
Anything like buffalo, bison, deer, elk. That's all venison.
Nice.
Yeah. It's
I think
one
you
of those
said
things. It's a
elk is good. I've never had that. I want to try that someday.
Elk is pretty good.
elk is.
No.
I don't want to decide anyone's choice.
Oh, I
what
love
it's
trying
gonna
new
be.
foods, especially meats.
But here's the thing. Venison is probably one of the best and healthiest meats you can have. Anything grass fed, like deer meat is really good. Venison, like anything venison is really good. Like, 'cause you're getting the nutrients of grass and the healthy stuff. Or if you get like a cow and it's all grass fed, fantastic.
Yeah.
Someone asked me earlier today, goes, "Are you gonna put horse on there?" No.
Sure, why not?
Although
It's
Moose
a meat.
meat.
I've had quite a lot of different meats.
Yes.
See,
But
because we're
we
a
get to
first
the
world
point-
country, we don't eat horse, goat, or dog.
Unless you go to Burger King 10, 15
Well,
years ago.
I've had lamb.
There's-
Yeah, it was
What
Jack
they
in the
made
Box.
their
So,
burgers out of.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Jack in the Box. Yes, it was. It was
Yeah.
good. I'm not gonna lie. It was
It
good.
did, you know what? Their burgers were the reddest, juiciest burger ever. And then they got
It
caught.
was. Yeah. Oh well. But we're gonna get to one of our favorite segments.
Twitter.
One where we got to
Twitter.
not only make Sims idiots and the dingleberries, we also get to give people corrections on it because that's important. Like we can make fun of these people all we want, and the moment we actually give out corrections, like this is actually how you do it.
Right.
All right. We're giving sound advice. Very like we're not all doctors. At least I don't know we are. I'm not. But at least we can give out good advice of like, hey, this is how you should write a comment. Because just don't be an idiot. That's all. Jeez, how
Or at
hard
least
can it
try.
be? I know, right?
Well,
First up is this one, and since everyone's screen covers it, I'll do this. I think we can do this one, yeah. All right. So Quinn Finite, bro, why do you subscribe to my OnlyFans if you
Oh, it's Quinfinite.
Quinfinite. Thank you very much.
It's like infinite, but Quinfinite. Clever.
At least it's not creeping it.
Yes, quite.
Oh, that's a better one. I like that. You know
yeah,
what? That's a better one.
that is a good one.
She or he says, bro, why do you subscribe to my OnlyFans if you hate pubic hair? Why, bro? Why? I don't know who the person was because I found this online, so I don't know what the person said. But I like what this person said. He's lost and doesn't know a good thing when it's staring him in the eyes or tickling his nose in this case.
But
I don't know. I just thought this was a funny one.
That's
I
a good
did.
one.
I just
That is a
there's
good one.
no.
there is.
It's not simping. I saw it and I was like, that's a funny one. Tickles his nose.
Yeah.
You know what,
But
can
here
we
we
just
go.
stop for a minute and appreciate
Yes.
how nice the likes are on that tweet?
Yes, we can.
Yay. Yes.
Lots of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is the tweet that I saw that needed to come up. I showed Gary this yesterday. He's like, "Why?" It's
Because
my
inquiring
birthday.
minds want to know.
So it's Pokimane.
Yay.
Oh, you can't see it. Dang it. You can only see her, but no one cares about her. Pokimane, our perfect simp magnet. She said it's my birthday, whenever that was, May 14th. I can't draw it there. I can't do it. The person down below says, "Mommy." Guys, what is the problem with the guy that says, "Mommy"?
Well, that's easy. Children shouldn't be looking at their mother's tweets
I
with
agree.
their breasts practically exposed. So,
Just
Yeah.
so cringe. So I've
Like, all right, Andy, how would you say if someone said it's my birthday? What would be your response? If it's a lady who says, "Hey, it's my birthday," how would you respond?
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Gordy, how would you respond? You would say Circle K.
yeah,
wouldn't you?
I'm basically yeah. I mean, you're the gift I'm going to unwrap if I'm going to be cringe.
there you go.
The problem I have with that tweet is like anyone who says "mommy," like how awkward do you have to be? Like
Extremely.
life skills.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see the tweet. Was it from Oedipus?
No, it was
That was-
from
Come on.
OSU Drama Days.
Never
I
mind.
don't know.
Mm.
I don't know.
you know
It's a
who
very
Oedipus
popular
was?
term used today. I know if you follow
No, I
Russell,
do not
He
know.
was a real motherfucker.
there's Rhea Ripley, so, wrestler, but she's nicknamed Mommy now, and everybody says it, so it's a big thing
Oh.
there. Yeah.
Mommy.
So Oedipus was a Greek story of this king. He gets the prophecy that his son will usurp him and kill him, and have sex with his mother. So he has the child killed, but they can't. The person who's going to do it can't kill the child. So ultimately, the kid grows up, goes to this land, finds out the king is a tyrant. He goes and kills the king and marries his wife, who ended up being his mother. So there's a moral of the story there.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't sleep with your mother.
Yeah.
Good one.
The more you know.
Yeah, the more you know. That's oh my
Because
gosh.
we
what-
needed to be told.
He's from the south,
Yeah.
isn't he? But
Shazam!
anyways, tonight.
Wow, it's a good thing I heard that. Otherwise, who knows what would have happened?
Yeah, exactly.
Tonight I wanted to do. I don't know if this was Canadian Spider-Man's idea. I don't know how this topic came up.
I don't-
I think I threw it out. I think you
I
did.
suggested
Canadian
barbecue.
Spider-Man.
I suggested barbecue, yeah.
And then as he goes off somewhere, probably saving the world with his maple syrup. wet.
This is venison ribs. Do you guys want to see venison ribs?
Ooh.
in the
Yeah,
slow
yeah.
cooker? Oh, okay. Well, I think I can do it.
Oh dear.
Yeah, literally.
Venison ribs in the slow cooker. I put this slow cooker on the wood stove overnight.
Kids, that's
Nice.
Bambi.
Yeah, with some salt and some pepper. And some
That's politically
onion salt and
correct.
garlic salt.
Disney Bambi.
So
Are you going to have a
I
side
watched.
of rabbit so Bambi and Thumper can be together?
Yep.
Yeah,
So what's funny is
Together
Since we're-
forever.
since we're talking about venison and everything, I've been watching. My wife and I've been watching this show on Amazon called Clarkson's Farm. And if anybody ever wants to know how farming is in a short way, in an entertaining way, go check out it. Really hilarious and actually really a lot of good things put into it. But there's a point where he actually had to hunt deer because farmers, they deal with boars and deer a lot. When it's overpopulated, you kind of have to deal with it. And a lot of animal activists, they're like, that's wrong. No, it's actually you're balancing out Mother Nature a little bit.
Yeah.
So he made them into hot
we hit
dogs.
these on the highway all the time. Like if there's too many of them, we'll just run them over. Honestly,
You can just put them in the back of your truck. They don't even stop you.
Yeah, I know. So Jeremy Clarkson from Top Gears and Turismo or whatever, Grand Tour, he owns 1,000 acres, so he started farming. And the last season he hunted deer, and he made it into a hot dog, which I thought was really clever. And people were eating it. He's like, do you know what that is? And they're like, no. He's like, it's Bambi. No one took him serious except one bald dude who just dead eyes him and it was hilarious. So for some reason, Canadian Spider-Man cooking like a man over there. It's just that popped in. But I have a few questions for tonight.
don't over-season it. Let the meat speak for itself. Don't over-season it.
Right.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
We'll go around the table. What's the worst or funny experience with meat that you've had? Ordy.
Carne asada sushi.
What?
Remember the carne asada sushi from a couple weeks ago?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I did find a picture of it. It's real.
Oh yeah,
That stuff is real.
That still fucks me up to this day. For those of you who didn't see the episode, my first wife's mother, in an act of kindness, knew I liked carne asada and that I liked sushi. So she put the two together, the carne asada in the seaweed roll, rolled it in the rice, did a fairly good job of making sushi. Very good presentation. However, don't do carne asada sushi.
Oh, I do have one.
Yes.
If I can share here, I do have this. So, where somebody took essentially a bunch of chicken parts and whatnot, and
Oh, you showed me
he
that
says,
one time.
chicken
You
covered with a lot
dirty.
of duplicate parts. Yeah, I know. And you can make two
God,
bears out of
man.
one chicken. So, it's like craft time, but with food and with meat.
I like how Charter.
So
I
there you
like how
go.
Charter Ass Man says, "Please don't talk to me anymore."
I'm getting Buffalo Bill
that's
vibes
right.
from Silence of the Lambs.
If you put the lotion in the basket,
There you go.
I just leave it.
Yep.
That's
So
so
if you ever want
creepy.
any cooking tips, then
if you
it
added
is-
some crab legs,
if you
it could
want
be
cooking
from the
tips-
thing.
Ooh.
that's right. I got it for you.
Mm.
There we go.
That'd be a good presentation.
Always willing to
Thanksgiving.
enhance the flavor of this show.
Wow.
Yes.
I expect this from Canadian Spider-Man. So
yeah.
one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, now that I'm getting ideas.
Yeah, Steve, how come you
There you
haven't cooked bear on the show yet? With all this, like, man or bear stuff.
But here's the thing. I've
Right.
had bear before. And
It looks like human.
it's the problem with bear meat. It's not the best choice of meat because they eat a lot of berries. And so that's the other
True.
thing. If you hunt for your own food, you kind of have to kind of gauge it. Like I always say elk or deer or boar. Those are the
Right.
top three. Because they eat a lot of grass and it's very nutrients. Bear, it's like catfish of the fish world. It's you can I don't know. I never liked bear meat. I'm never gonna say no to it again, but it's if I'm out in the wilderness trying to survive, yeah, I'm gonna hunt a bear, but I better have a 10mm round gun with me. That's pretty much a bear gun or a 45 Magnum, like something big enough to take a bear down. But I don't know, like bear meat is just it's not my main choice of meat. I would say, it's interesting. If you haven't had it, try it and you'll understand. It's a lot of like because they eat berries and everything, so you're gonna get like that weird taste to it. Yeah.
Plus they eat
Tom, is there
salmon, and
any?
I hate salmon.
Oh, I love salmon.
Oh yeah.
Smoked salmon.
If you do it right, salmon can get really screwed up. But
yeah.
Okay,
Tom,
yeah,
is there
I'll get a bad story. Yeah, the single artist guy thing who's sitting around working on editing photos, forgetting that I have something on the stove. I did that story before. This is a different one. I was boiling just a simple hot dog one, just good hot dogs. And then, you get working, and you forget, oh crap, 30 minutes ago, and then there's two little charred things at the bottom of the pot. They're literally burned. So black. Like, I get lost, and maybe there was a gummy involved too, but, I'm a little black.
I knew it. You want to get high?
I did try to get, one time they got fairly burnt, but I did eat them. Not good. The second I was like, oh, yes, it's happened twice. I'm not going to lie.
Canadian Spider-Man. Is there any?
Yes.
Is it so? I don't know if you walked off. So I don't know if you heard the question or not. What's the worst or funny experience? With
I
meat
did.
of, like,
I did.
Okay.
Involving meat. Yeah, I did hear. I used to live. I had a roommate back when I lived in Fredericton, New Brunswick. Shout out to Gunny, wherever you are. And he was in the military, and he was a funny guy. And he came home late one night, and with these big, thick, over 1 inch steaks, and he was excited. It was wintertime, and we were still barbecuing, so it was dark though, middle of winter. So he was out barbecuing them out in the snow on the deck, and they were big, thick, beautiful steaks. Cooks them up, and we like everything like half cooked, like medium rare at on the rare side, really. And he brings them in and throws them down. And we're bachelors. We don't have a whole lot of light around the place. And I didn't ask. We just threw barbecue sauce, started eating them half, medium rare, beautiful, perfect. So, man, these are friggin' delicious. But they're overpowered with the Cajun spice. What are we eating? What cut? Yeah, it's huge, thick pork chops. And I said, what? Yeah, huge, thick pork chops, and they are clearly half cooked. No.
Yeah.
All right. And we ate them anyway because we had been drinking, and we finished them. And we were about to go
Trichinosis
in the
hasn't
snow
killed
and cook
most
them
people.
again. No, I think the alcohol killed all the germs. I don't remember any bad experiences, Zach, but it was.
Is that what you're
was
telling yourself?
horrifying. Yeah, it was. It was half cooked pork.
What kind of alcohol?
Yeah, what were you
vodka,
drinking?
Oh, that would do with
vodka
that. Yeah.
or Sailor Jerry's. The Sailor Jerry's, the overproof
Oh.
rum. That was another thing we drank a lot of. Yeah.
There you go.
Hang on, real
That'll
quick.
do it.
Important
at the time.
question. Andy,
Yes.
are those Twizzlers or red vines?
They are Twizzlers.
Communist.
Hey, you know what?
I like
I like
Twizzlers.
Twizzlers.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah.
Those are too.
so I actually have a really funny story too, actually. So the town that I'm in, like my wife, before we got married, she was going to college in the town that we're at now. And so she knew all the restaurants. And I like Mexican food. I like pretty much almost all types of international type foods. And she's like, "You want to go get some tacos?" I was like,
Mountain
"Who
oysters.
doesn't?" Oh yeah. Thanks to Gary. Yes. You were there. That was the first time I had oysters, was with you at that one place. And
No,
he got a
mountain
whole bunch of
oysters, not regular oysters. Mountain oysters.
Oh,
Prairie oysters.
prairie oysters.
Oh, I didn't have mountain oysters then.
No,
Oh, no, the first time I ever had oysters was with Gary, and he's like, "You better eat it like a man."
Oh yeah,
I did, and I enjoy them now.
oysters are
And
great.
I
A
was
little
like,
hot
"Oh,
sauce.
I love them. Love
Yeah.
oysters.
Oh
Love
yeah.
them.
But so my wife
Raw.
takes me to this taqueria place, and
Right.
I was like, "All right, I'll have a steak tacos," and I'm eating it. Something in my head's just like processing things a little bit.
Yeah.
And just kind of like, when you're like thinking, you're like, and it's slowly clicking. And then I was like, she had a taco left over. I was like, wow, these are pretty good. And I was like, "You gonna finish that?" She said no. So I ate her taco. It was a chicken taco. And I was like, something's not right here right now. I feel violated. And she's just looking at me just very confused, like, "Why do you look like you want to punch a wall?" I was like, that didn't taste like chicken. And now that I think of it, that didn't taste like steak. And she's like, "Well, we're at a vegan Mexican restaurant."
Oh,
What? What? No. Who? What? And it was all tofu.
Oh no.
oh
And
God.
I was like, so you just made me eat tofu. Like, I was pissed at this point. I was like, "You just made me like
Ugh.
what?" And she's like, "Well, you said that steak taco was good." I was like, "Yeah, because I put a ton of salsa on it and all this hot sauce." So it's like I couldn't tell the difference. She duped me into that. Roll back 4
sacrilege.
years. Hold up, it gets even better. This is
Oh.
the funniest part, because this
Yeah.
one isn't on her. She felt bad about that. She's like, "I've never taken you to this place," and I didn't. She was like, "Didn't you see the sign that says vegan?" I was like, "No, like, we're going to a taco place. You would think they would not serve tofu. Like, it's Mexican food. Like, that's sacrilegious to them."
Yeah.
But so fast forward a few months later, or a few months ago, she went to this Parkinson's walk marathon type thing with some people that we know, that one of the ladies that we know has Parkinson's, that we play pickleball with. So she was telling me, "Yeah, we made some burgers for dinner, and some were vegan burgers, and they tasted weird. But they all gave me the cheeseburgers because they would they know I would eat it. Well, she gave me one of the burgers. I ate it. It wasn't a burger. It was a vegan burger. And I looked at her. She, in her defense, she did not know. She did not know. And then even the people that gave us the burgers, they didn't know that got slipped into there. But everybody started dying laughing because when I took a bite, it felt like charcoal. She's like, "Oh, how is it?" And I was like, "This isn't a burger. This is not Betsy the cow at all. This is like some Dylan Mulvaney crap that I'm eating here. What's going on? Like, did I what portal did I just step
Oh man,
into?"
you just brought back another bad memory. Yeah.
Dude, it was the fun. I started laughing about it because I knew, in my wife's defense, she did not do it on purpose.
Yeah.
She did it, but it's the funniest thing I've ever dealt with because it honestly it did look like a burger, but man, once you take like the first 2 bites, you're like, something's not right. Andy, what is the worst or funniest experience that you've had with meat?
Let's see. I'm trying to think if I've had any like really bad experiences with meat. Let's see. I had an ostrich burger once.
Ooh, how was that?
It's good. If you have a Cabela's near you that have the restaurant, they have a little eatery in there. You can go in and get an ostrich burger. It was actually pretty good. My biggest issue is like when I eat anything. So I was this close to eating frog's legs once, but the buddy I was with said like, "Oh yeah, that's frog's legs." If he didn't tell me, I probably would have eaten it. He said, "No, try it. It tastes just like chicken." I said, "You know what else tastes just like chicken? Chicken. I think I'll stick with the chicken."
Yeah.
I have no interest in eating like it's kind of like a combination between chicken and fish.
They're not that bad.
Hey, you know what?
I've had them, but it's kind of like
It's a
Cornish
salty
game hen.
chicken.
A lot of work for very little reward.
This person here says gay sex isn't too bad either, but I'm not trying that either. So
no.
Yeah. I do remember when so I'm originally from Florida, and what is it? I want to say 6, but I think it was our 5th anniversary. We went to Florida. I showed my wife my hometown. She's like, "This is really nice." I was like, "I don't remember any of this stuff." So she was dead set. I want to find a crocodile or alligator. I was like, "All right, I'll try to find one." We never did, but then we went to this place on the beach kind of restaurant, and I saw alligator tail. I was like, "I'm getting this." She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "It just tastes like chicken." That's all pretty much what it is. It's not chicken, but it has that same texture for it. Oh my gosh. She didn't like it very much. I ate the whole plate. I'm just fine, I'll take it. My southern side came out. I was like, "Woohoo!"
Can you tell me, depending on how it's cooked, it can be taste like chicken or lobster?
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I've had gator. It was barbecued. I was backstage at a Bad Religion concert. They just come from Louisiana, and it tasted just like a lobster steak.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
It can. If you cook it, if you deep fry it, it tastes more like chicken. If you grill it, it tastes more like lobster.
Yeah,
It's
that's fair.
really good.
Get some.
Well, then I got a surprise for you guys. Because
there is no alligator.
No, not really.
I've been living
here in Alberta, in Banff, right? World famous Banff. Okay. They got this restaurant in Banff that you got to make a reservation for, like, months in advance, right? And it's called the Banff Grizzly House. And this restaurant, it's like packed all the time. And what they got on their menu is they got stuff like, they got some fondues that you can have, like ostrich fondue that, you can put like on a hot rock and just, grill it right there. They got rattlesnake. Let's see. What else have they got?
Oriental.
Yeah,
Oriental.
I'm looking at this, man.
Yeah. Buffalo, of course, because buffalo, it's a beefier beef. I love it. And then they got the hunter fondue, which, you know, you got buffalo, you got wild boar, you know, and you got venison, and then you got your exotic stuff, you know, like exotic fish, alligator, rattlesnake, you know, ostrich, frog legs, buffalo, venison. But then you go down a little bit, you know, what they got for side orders, you know, you got your lobster and your wild boar and your elk and your ostrich.
Delicious.
I mean, heck, you can even get, you know, caribou, you know, along with rattlesnake.
Ew.
Yeah. So, you know, if you're in the hankering for some caribou, you know, you can get that. There you go.
Let's talk about the sherry for the soup, because you don't see that much anymore, and that's fucking top shelf.
No.
That's class.
Exactly.
Not bad prices either.
$2.95 for that? That's a good deal.
Yeah,
That is a good
know,
deal. Well, Canadian prices, so it's even cheaper for you guys in the States, right?
Yes, that's like 95 cents for us.
Exactly.
Too much,
40,
yeah.
40, we're dining out tonight.
We're going.
There we go.
You know, there's
I
a
can actually
restaurant.
We're going to
We're
Banff.
like kings in Banff.
Yep.
There's a restaurant in Milwaukee called Dahmer's.
Right.
The name.
Really?
They say it's a place. They say it's the place to have your neighbors for dinner. So
With some fresh
man.
Chianti. So,
So
let's share that with
next-
you guys since we're talking meat, you know. So if you're ever in Banff, if you're ever in Canada, and you want to go to Banff, Grizzly House Restaurant. There you go.
I'm gonna, you know what? If I'm ever there, I will definitely check it out. That sounds like a fancy redneck style right there. That's
Let's
a
talk
man's
about how
dream
reasonable those
restaurant.
prices were too.
Oh yeah. And that place, that looks like a man cave like you wouldn't believe.
All right, I'll
On the
have to check
inside.
it out.
That's
Oh yeah.
The next question I have, they get better.
Speaking of
I like
caribou,
having this
it's gonna-
conversation because I made tri-tip
That's
last
the
night
liver.
for
that's the liver.
oh. So I made 2 tri-tips, and I think sirloin also last night for one of the degrees at the lodge, a Masonic degree.
Yeah.
And there's one guy that walked in, he's like, I could smell the chicken from here. I was like, we ain't cooking chicken tonight. It's steak. He's like, oh. The amount of tri-tip and chicken I have cooked for these degrees and meetings at the lodge is insane. And every meeting and degree, the chicken gets better and better. And this guy from the Philippines, he's eating, he's like, I feel very southern right now. I was like, God bless you, my friend. So the next question I have is, what is your favorite meat or choice of meat? The reason why I did this is because sometimes your favorite choice of meat may not be the one, like your favorite meat is the one that you want to go out to the restaurant and you're like, ooh, I want that, like a New York steak or a surf and turf or filet mignon, or in my case, it's a tri-tip. That's a little bit different. And then also is what's your choice of meat when you're cooking at home? It's sometimes when you're cooking at home, your meat, it could be like pork, venison, beef, chicken. It could be of anything. Sometimes you don't really pick your favorite meat because you cherish that the most. Andy, what would be you could even pick both. You can answer both of them. What is your favorite meat or choice of meat?
a porterhouse steak, about an inch and a half thick, medium rare, just enough to be warmed up on the inside. No steak sauce, just salt, pepper, a little garlic powder, a little onion powder. Yep. That's pretty much heaven right there. And that's
I'm hungry.
if anybody, people say like, do you want any steak sauce? Like, no, because I like the taste of my steak tasting like cow.
Yeah.
You just like you can't eat plain chicken, you can't put anything really on a steak, or else you ruin that flavor. And when it's cooked too much, it's just like then it's just like dry shoe leather and it's not enjoyable. So
Yeah.
which is good. Like and I really like that my wife likes her steak well done because she's so busy chewing. I never hear anything from her while we're having dinner.
Canadian Spider-Man. What is your favorite meat?
Yeah.
And I should just say, and choice of meat. Like when you go out to a restaurant, what is like the meat, like the number one meat that you're like, ooh, this is it?
That's the one. I really like a really good pulled pork sandwich if I'm going out to a restaurant. Really good. But however, overall, I mean, I'm an East Coast boy. I gotta go with Bay of Fundy lobster from Nova Scotia, not Prince Edward Island, because Prince Edward Island lobsters feed on a sandy bottom as opposed to a rocky bottom. They have more sand in the meat, and it's warmer water. It changes the flavor of the meat. So specifically Nova Scotia, which shares a coast with Maine. So the Maine lobster is the same as the Nova Scotia lobster. Same thing. World famous Maine lobster. It's what I grew up with. Bay of Fundy lobster with Digby scallops that you have to cut in half because the bacon won't go all around the scallop. It's incredible.
All right.
Yeah. That's my answer.
What would be okay? So here's the thing. What would be your choice? Oh, okay. I'll ask him when he comes back. I was gonna ask him what is his choice of meat, like what he likes to cook. Roadkill. Mike, what would be anything I found on this? Canadian Spider-Man is as redneck as I am. Anything I find on the side of the road, we cooking. Possum, sure, put it on the grill. Canadian Spider-Man. Now that you're back and you're cooking that, oh god, dude, that looks so good. What is your choice of meat when you cook at home? Is it anything you find on the side of the road?
Well, you know what? Recently, I've been this deer I harvested in early hunting season, which is early October, and this is the last of it, and it's lasted me this long. So I like it because I know what it ate. It's just 2 kilometers down the road. I know exactly what this deer ate because I opened it up its stomach and looked at it. There's no hormones in it. There's no pesticides. There's no anything in it. I prefer, and venison is just delicious. I really like the rich flavor. The fat, it's a little waxy, but once you get, and it does stick to your teeth like wax, but the fat is so rich and so good. I like venison. If I'm at home and I have venison in the fridge, that's it. If not that, I've got a neighbor up the road. Shout out to him. And he has cows that he raises, and we have some beef, prime beef from his cows, delicious, raised just up the road. So the prime cut there would be a brisket. I know the brisket's a cheaper type of meat. I know it's a cheaper type of meat, but I was in Whistler, and the hotel I was at. Speaking of the meat. Our hotel hosted the judges and the competitors for the International Barbecue Championships. It takes place every BC long weekend in August.
Nice.
First weekend of August in Whistler, and competitors come up from Texas, from all over the states. They have trailers that are barbecues. The whole damn trailer is a barbecue, and it's a long weekend, and they cook things for 3 days long. And so I was the head, I was the head operations guy. I was the assistant chief engineer. So whatever these guys needed, it's like, whatever you need. What do you need for the meat? I'm your guy 24/7. Absolutely. And I told, I had staff and that I was managing and tell them whatever these guys need, give it to them. And they brought us samples of meat. And the brisket that they cooked for I don't know how many days, the brisket was amazing. And I'm sorry, you can probably hear the cooking. Sorry.
Oh no, that's good.
It's all good. Horty.
Yeah. So, no,
okay.
I'm here. You caught me mid sneeze. So. Yeah.
Hi,
how you doing? So, okay. So I'm gonna answer all 3 of these quick. Going out, seared ahi or petite filet Oscar. That's what I'm going out. At home, tri-tip Santa Maria style, obviously. And when I'm camping, Jamaican jerk pork loin.
All right. That's
Ooh.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mike.
Yeah, well, seeing how I'm in the Texas of Alberta, and I mean, there's lots of beef to be had everywhere. So
Yes,
if
Alberta
it's
beef,
gonna
yeah.
be a beef, then it's gonna be like 16-ounce steak, medium rare, Angus beef steak. Just love it. Just give me a big hunk of meat like that. Yeah, and it's gotta be medium rare. I just want to see just a little bit of that blood just ooze right out, right? It just tastes so good. And then on the other hand, 16-ounce bison steak, just grilled to perfection. Oh, and it's like an upgrade.
Bison is so good.
Oh, it is so good. Anything bison steaks, bison sausages. It's just a beefier beef altogether, and grass fed on top of that. It is like the most
Beefier
perfect
beef.
meat. It's so perfect the way it is, you know. But on top of that, seeing how we got Jeff that's in the chat, I think he shared something what his favorite meat is, because he put the link in the chat there. It's this from Exotic Meat Market, where you can actually get guinea pig testicles. And
What?
yeah, and apparently you can get Rocky Mountain oysters, guinea pig testicles, for $20 a pop.
All right.
And yeah, so if you want a good quality protein, it's guinea pig testicles. So there you go. Jeff, thank you very much for sharing that. I admire your contribution to this channel. So there you go.
That's
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Very
Did we get
interesting.
to
CUI.
Tom?
No.
No, but we are now.
What would be your favorite meat and
Going out
choice of
and then
meat?
home. Yeah. Now going out, I try not to do any fish type thing because going out, I'm a mess eater sometimes, so I'll stick to a steak. Here we don't have much here in the East Coast. These two Maritimers are out west now, so you got more of the beef. Here in the East Coast, it's more fish still. I find anyway. So, but a good medium rare steak, Swiss chalet, very good. You know, like Mike was saying, I like the red coming out in the center. It has to. I don't like it cooked overcooked.
yes.
And just for some reason, Swiss chalet is
Yeah.
just so good. But here at home, well, lobster's expensive, so I don't do that. But bacon wrapped scallops. I love bacon wrapped scallops.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
you get them. You get the scallops
I'm
fresh
talking.
out of the docks. I know some people that, and you get it fresh, and you just wrap it in the bacon. Oh my god, just so good. Just, I mean, I'd say lobster is expensive. I love lobster, but for something that's relatively good priced, bacon wrapped scallops, just, it's just to die for. I'm still gonna try those tri-tips though. I'm waiting to try those. I'm gonna make those someday. I'm waiting when you guys mention it. But
Well,
yeah,
if we ever hang out, I will cook you a tri-tip, and then you like, oh my
I'm all
gosh.
for that.
Yeah, you just reminded me.
For
Remember that
me-
poll I did a couple weeks
See,
ago
and when
about
it comes to seafood,
Well,
New
hold,
Brunswick, there's
Mike,
one place where you can,
hold up, Mike.
and
He's
What were you
frozen.
gonna say, Ordy? We'll get to Mike. Ordy, what were you gonna say?
remember that poll I had a couple weeks ago about how like tri-tip is a California cut?
Yes.
You know, we were
Yeah.
talking about that. I did that poll on Twitter. I was surprised that apparently outside of California and Vermont, apparently, because Jeff's known about tri-tip his whole life too, Texas is the only other state that knows about tri-tip. And the
Yes.
poll overwhelmingly nailed with Texans that skewed it to 80% had heard of tri-tip. But everyone else is like, what, the hat?
What were you gonna say, Mike?
yeah. I mean, because speaking of New Brunswick, and especially bacon wrapped scallops, and Canadian
Yes.
Spider-Man and Tom will know exactly what I'm talking about. There's one place in New Brunswick. If you're gonna get seafood, if you're ever in Atlantic Canada, there's a place called Aussie's, right? That makes the best seafood any place probably in the Maritimes. Aussie's. It's between the Maine border and St. John. and it's like right by the side of the highway
Yeah.
on the way to St. John, New Brunswick, right?
Mhm.
Best seafood
Yep.
ever.
Yeah, I remember.
Ever.
Yep.
Now we have a
So-
local
If you're in
Bob's Takeout, which is
Halifax.
great fried clams. Beautiful. But yeah, no, I've heard of
Ooh.
Aussies. Yeah. I've been there years ago.
The
yeah.
Five Fishermen. If you're in Halifax, which is an international airport, if you're going over to Europe, often
Yeah.
people stop in Halifax. The Five Fishermen, unbelievable. They bring out a clamshell this big, full of every seafood you get. Alaskan king crab legs, every seafood. It was $200 back 6 years ago. I don't know how much it is now. Unbelievable. Yeah, if you want to impress a girl, that is where you go. The Five Fishermen in Halifax, and you get the big shell full. It's a boat. Sorry, the boat. It was a boat with giant shells on it. It was like a boat.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but have you heard
It
of
was
Red
fantastic.
Lobster? Yeah.
No. Bob's Takeout. They have the best fried clams and good fish, and just locally here.
Nice. Fried clams isn't really a Pacific Coast thing, is it, Steve?
No,
Fried clams.
it's
No,
not.
no.
It's not.
We do.
No.
It's
a shame.
It's not common, but
Not a
West Coast is
shame.
more fried calamari.
Yeah. So
Oh, yeah.
the
Okay.
choice of meat that I usually go for is tri-tip, and I use Kinder's seasoning and rub, and I cook my tri-tip at 250 degrees in the oven, and 250, 275, whichever one, and then until it hits 130, and then I just let it rest for an hour. That's how you do it. My favorite meat is elk, hands down. Just
Yeah.
there's no
Ooh,
questions. It's just
elk.
But here's a question I have actually before we get to the next one. Andy, how do you like your meat?
Intact. Oh,
Well, that's the obvious one.
Really?
beef
you don't
medium
say.
rare.
All
Beef
right.
has to be medium rare. Pork and chicken, well done. Well, not well done,
Yes.
just done. But yeah, I love the natural flavor of venison steak. Now, venison varies greatly. So if you get one in early fall, and they've been eating all the good stuff, they taste really, really good. We had a buddy of mine got a deer, and he gave me a couple steaks off of it, and it was feeding off of this farmer's crops and was very well fed. It was much tastier than the nuts and berries deer that like in twigs and stuff that they're out there munching on in the wild. But yeah, I really enjoy the natural flavor of red meat.
Ordy, how do you like your meat?
Right between rare and medium rare for beef. You're just right at that. I mean, still, I've evolved from charred rare because you can't get it anywhere anymore. So, and rare, most places will fuck it up and make it medium anyway. So if I say make it between medium rare and rare, then they will underdo what they had planned on doing anyway. So that's a place you kind of get to charred rare nowadays. Yeah, like Andy said, pork and chicken need to be done.
Yeah.
Smoked chicken. The one thing that always threw me off with smoked chicken is that smoke ring forms around the bone. So you think it's not done, but it's actually perfect at that point. That's always threw me off, but that's my favorite. You know, when you're, So
All right.
Oh, and bacon just barely crisp, mostly floppy.
Yes, amen. Preacher, brother. Canadian Spider-Man, who's cooking up a gourmet.
Potatoes, carrots, mushrooms, red potatoes, BC red potatoes, mushrooms, carrots, and buck liver from buck that I shot in early fall. About a 2-year-old buck.
I'm thinking somebody's got the munchies.
Yeah, how much did you smoke, man?
This is the blood that came out of the venison liver. So that's all fried blood with a side of Diana sauce. And I smoked a full quarter of it. I took it over to my buddies. Shout out to Mike, and he smoked a whole hind quarter.
A full quarter, what a brick!
That's
You know what?
That's
I'm gonna
long
get a
gone.
phone call from PETA because of you, Canadian Spider-Man. That's what's gonna happen. I'm like, look, I don't know this Canadian guy that you're speaking of.
PETA over. Send PETA over.
But okay, so Canadian
Took my good
Spider-Man,
meat.
how do you like your meat?
I-
Do you like
yeah,
it rare, medium
I'll
rare?
hook them on venison. Medium rare. And I don't want to over season anything. I just had a little bit of venison. You know what, Steve?
Yes.
I've had raw chicken sashimi in Japan twice.
That's good.
They just sear it like tuna tataki, like really quick sear. And they raise those chickens specifically so that you don't get the intestinal worms or anything like that. Never died from it. And apparently it's catching on in California, so be warned. Raw chicken coming your way, Steve.
I'm
Yeah.
good.
I'll eat it before I'll eat bugs.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Tom, how do you like your meat?
Well, and like everybody else here, steak has
With
to be medium
curves.
rare. You gotta have it red in the center. That's just a given. Yeah.
Medium rare.
Medium rare, you said?
Well,
raw
yeah, you
seafood.
want some red. You want red in the middle. It just
Yeah.
has to, just nothing else. Pork and stuff, of course, and chicken for me, just fully cooked through. Now I've heard it on somewhere in the States they actually have hamburger raw. I've never seen it, but I've heard it. Some people can eat hamburger raw.
Steak tartare.
I have.
Yeah, steak tartare.
Those are the crazy
Steak
ones.
tartare.
Mm.
Yep.
I've heard
Does
it's
everyone
good.
here like sashimi?
Yeah, I've heard.
Like
So.
raw fish.
Well,
Yeah.
I like sushi. I don't mind sushi actually. Sometimes I've had some sushi. Don't mind raw fish. It doesn't bother me. But I'd prefer it cooked. But yeah, no, that's what it there for those. You know.
I'll sometimes
Mike,
order a burger rare. It's really good.
Sure.
Now I
Yeah.
do love my bacon. I'm probably the one few here. I like it crispy. Everybody likes it a little. I gotta have it crispy.
you Canadian.
That's like I
Andy,
said,
you
around
must
that
like
scallop when it's crispy.
sushi, I'm sure.
Crunch, just.
See, it's really floppy. It's just so coated in maple syrup that that's
God.
good.
I know, right?
But Mike, how do you like your meat?
I like my meat either still throbbing in pain or, as it's being cut and ride the rest home, or medium rare. Yeah,
All right.
preferably medium rare.
So for me, I like my steaks medium rare. I like my bacon still floppy, just because you get the richness. You get that.
Yes.
There's something about it, and then, but I learned this real quick. Elk, you actually have to cook it rare because the meat burns a lot faster. And I'll eat a steak that's rare. That's not a problem with me. It's a little maybe too much. Like when you cut into a steak and you have, I'm trying to speak over Canadian Spider-Man's delicious sizzling sounds.
Sorry.
It's okay. It just sounds really good. That's the problem. It's like there's a restaurant that's near me called Sizzlers, and they walk
can
around
move
and
that.
you can hear it sizzling. I was like, oh my gosh.
Wait, you mean?
But
Did you say Sizzlers?
it's yes.
I think so.
And like the thing when you cut into meat and you see some of the blood, there's some richness to it, so it's good.
Yeah.
Elk is fantastic raw. When you cook it raw,
Look at the blood.
fantastic.
I can almost smell that.
I know.
Mm.
I mean, yeah.
But I
Yeah.
know Mike, he sent me a DM and he said that brother John Reynolds wanted to share something on this episode.
Yeah,
And what is? Do you have that up right now?
I
no
got
idea
that up right now.
Just Dillo Mulvaney. Look, Andy has that in the bag.
I know. John Rendell sent us here at Man-O-Rama something here. I don't know if I can actually share it. Maybe I might be able to. Yeah, okay. So John Rendell sent us this, right? Our brother John Rendell. And it's a poem. Seeing how we're talking about meat and everything like that. And it's called Ode to Chicken. Or Another Reason I Should Not Live Alone by Angus Cowpen Billswhip. And it goes like this. You can roast it, you can bake it. Add some flour in a bag and shake it. You can boil it in a pot, make a stew that's nice and hot. You can marinate it and grill it. Just be sure to first go and kill it. Sweet and sour, General Sow. It's the right bird, and you know it. You can serve it on a stick, or you can put it on your plate. Goes with veggies or potatoes, pasta, rice, or stewed tomatoes. On a pizza with some cheese, give me 2 more slices, please. It's so good with macaroni. Share it with your good friend Tony. Spice with wings and buffalo sauce. In between the darts you toss. I like the legs. I like the breasts. They're the things I love the best. Next to chicken. Go ahead, catch, kill, and pluck it. Just be sure that you don't abuse it. You can shoot it. You can choke it. Made of rubber. You can joke it. Leave it whole, or you can bone it. Get its DNA, then clone it. Oh, chicken is the living end. Yes, chicken is a boy's best friend. And there you go. From Brother John Rendell, the Fez brother himself. Thanks, John.
So
And
the next question I have is, how do you cook your meat? Because there's a certain way you could do it.
Yep.
All right. You can be on grill. You could be stove, oven, whatever. Andy, how do you cook your meat?
Okay, so preferred, I like grilling it. Grilling it over charcoal is the best. It's a little tricky because the charcoal can be a little temperamental with its steadiness of its temperature. So outside of that, I will pan fried in with butter and garlic. Third is grilled. That's for steak, but I do appreciate a good prime rib, and I like to do the reverse sear method. Like, so you sear it and then just leave it in the hot oven for about 3 hours, and then pull it out, and it's absolutely perfect. Who's next?
Beautiful.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'll go
Yeah,
next.
Spider-Man.
I like to cook my meat over a fire if possible. It's pouring rain outside now, so I was going to have a bonfire, but it's absolutely miserable out there right now, so that's not going to happen. And if that's not possible, then a slow cooker is good for, pulled pork or chili. And my chilies are mostly meat, mushrooms, and beans. And other than that, pan fried with a lot of butter right here. Take a look. You can actually see. Can you see the big arteries there where the blood is oozing out? Right there. It's crazy. But yeah, pan fried in the wok. We have a whole litany of spices here at the house. I try not to I try not to over season it. You want the meat to speak for itself if possible.
Now myself, I'll go. I was going to say, now, I don't have a barbecue here. It's an apartment living, but I love to barbecue if I can. Dad taught me his little trick, is he would marinate a steak overnight with Alpine beer, which is just made just down the street from here, and with soy sauce, a little bit of soy sauce. Yeah. I was like, I didn't know because I just knew he had the beer, but it turns out he had soy sauce to it too. So I learned that little trick. And you marinate it overnight.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you put it on the grill and just sear it on both sides. Again, just leave it a little bit raw inside, and just, it's so perfect. But at home, where I just don't really have it, when I'll just get the frying pan. I use olive oil, and then I'll just, again, sear it on each side and stuff, just long enough, and cook it that way, just on the stove as much. But I can't wait once I get my own place and get my grill. And I love grilling it, though, when I get the opportunity. Oh. after seasoning. Not too much, but just let it marinate overnight and just oof. Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
No.
Bone sucking sauce. Oh yeah.
My mom and dad sent this to me from New Brunswick. This is from Fredericton, probably from
Nice.
the market or.
I thought it was from Monica Lewinsky.
Okay, I'll go next. Being in the desert, it's getting out to grill, standing next to a grill when it's 110 outside is just I enjoy it, but the window of opportunity to grill is pretty narrow here. So when I'm cooking my steaks or whatever, generally I'll do cast iron grill pan, 3 to 4 minutes aside, and then I'll take the pan and shove it into the oven for probably about 10 minutes at 300, and then it comes out exactly how I like it. Just a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of garlic, and that's it on it.
Yeah.
Did everyone go?
Mike, I don't think you have yet.
Mike,
No, I haven't. Yeah, if anything, I'm a plain Jane kind of guy. I mean, I'll just slap it right on the grill on a barbecue.
you would.
I know. I don't
You
have time to
dirty man,
marinate.
you.
I don't have time to marinate. If I got a hankering for meat, then I'll just slap it on the grill and get some barbecue sauce or whatever just happens to be there, and I will just slather it.
You weirdo.
Whatever sauces. I know.
You're an Australian Outback guy, aren't you?
I
That's
want
what
it
you are.
now. That's what it is. I'm impatient for that succulent taste of beef.
But you're just tasting the sauce if you slather it. So just have a cup of friggin' sauce and take your time.
I could.
Hey,
yeah.
I don't. Here's the thing.
I'm in a
I don't.
rush,
I'm
man.
not going to judge anyone on the panel, anyone watching 5 years from now. I'm not going to judge you for how you cook your meat. I really don't. It's more of a personal preference. So it's kind of just funny. It's like you're the Outback Steakhouse type guy because they don't season the shit out of that steak at all. I've been there. For me, I've learned the beauty of cast iron. My wife told me, I told this before, that she said, how do you do a cast in the oven? I was like, what kind of religious are you trying to make? Like, I'm a man. I know how to cook the barbecue. And turns out, Canadian Spider-Man, you're making me really hungry right now.
I know,
That's not
man.
fair. That's not fair. Are you using chopsticks?
Yes.
What's in a wok?
Yeah, he is.
That's
Alright.
cultural appropriation.
This is
No,
the
we're not in
man who
but I like to. I've
chopsticks are
learned.
efficient.
Yeah, I guess they are. This is weird.
I lived in Japan. I
But-
love them.
All right,
They
you
come
get a
in handy,
pass, I
actually, they
guess.
do, yeah.
Yeah, for me, I like to cook my tri-tip in the oven now. I've learned a method that works, and it's like candy. I taught Gary it. It's fantastic. There's something about having a charcoal grill, cooking it over a fire. There's something about it. I don't know. I don't have the
Primal.
answer, and I don't want to know the answer to it. But it's just for some reason it tastes really good.
It's
But I do a
primal,
lot of my
man.
cooking of
Bastard
meat.
fuel.
Yeah, I do a lot of my cooking if it's like a tri-tip in the oven, and then I sear it after, which you can do both ways, and it's just fantastic.
Mm.
See, now I want to go kill.
So what is
I
a
wanna go-
tri-tip
What?
for those of us not from Texas?
What is?
Yeah.
It's God's gift to mankind.
Nah,
It's
there we
meat
go.
That's
candy.
what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is. It's meat candy. It is probably.
Really?
Well, see, here's the other thing. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I do salt and pepper. That's my seasoning, and I add some garlic powder to it. Like, no, I want to rub it. If I'm cooking like a tri-tip, I'll put if I go to a store, it's probably going to be marinated before. But if I want to actually put some effort into it, I'll get it where it's like about this big, and I'll cut the fat out, save the fat for other cooking, and I'll just I'll rub it with some seasonings and some stuff I have, which I want to learn actually to make my own rub. And I'll let it sit in a bag for couple hours to let it soak in and cook that thing. Oh, yeah. It's literally the candy of meat. It's tri-tip is
nice.
one of my favorites. And I remember I went
Can
to
you
a place
overcook it?
What?
It's bad to overcook it, I take it.
It's better if it's medium rare.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
to
just-
answer your question, it's actually called the triangle cut from the bottom round. It's a subprime meat,
yeah.
but it's
Subprime.
just but it's fucking epic.
It is.
Optimus
It's.
Prime.
I remember when I was in Nebraska, and we went to a steakhouse. I was like, "Can I have a tri-tip?" And they're like, "What's a tri-tip?" I was like, "You're a damn steakhouse. You don't know what a tri-tip is?" And my cousins were like, "Dude, you're from California. I don't even know what a tri-tip is." I was like, "What's going on?"
What your
Like,
liver looks like, folks.
And you think
Yeah.
all the beef in the nation goes through Nebraska?
you would think, Omaha Steakhouse. So the
Yeah.
last question I have is actually a really important one. Mike, this is for everyone, what are some skills guys can learn on cooking meat? Because here's the thing, what I've learned is a lot of guys don't know. They're not taught. There's an actual way, a proper way of cooking meat.
Yeah.
And each of us all have a different way of life skills on cooking meat. Canadian Spider-Man probably has the best way of doing it, as cooking a liver. But there's a certain point where we've all gotten older and we know how to cook the meat that we want. And some restaurants may not cook it the way we want it to be. That's a personal preference. But this is where it gets to the nitty-gritty of like, hey guys, there's an actual life skill to this, because if you're surviving in the wilderness, you're gonna have to learn how to cook your meat properly.
That's right.
Mike, so what are some skills guys can learn on cooking meat?
Well, let's see. I mean, first of all, it comes down to personal preference, how you like your meat, right? First of all, I mean, you want to make sure that there's not a whole bunch of blood still left over. I mean, then again, hey, if that's the way you like it, well, then that's the way you like it. But, you got to be aware that depending on where your meat comes from, first of all, you want to examine your meat, right? Whether it's fish, you want to make sure that there's no worms like wiggling around still in there. That's extremely important, because the last thing that you want is, some sort of parasite getting in you and migrating to certain parts of your body where you don't want said parasites.
That's right.
And the same thing goes for, land animals as well, right? You want to fully inspect your meat, because, if you got something nasty in there and it isn't fully cooked, well, chances are you're going to be running to the bathroom an awful lot. And you want them dead at a certain temperature. Even if there is something in that meat, the proper temperature is going to take care of those nasty little buggers, and technically they will explode because of the heat, because of all that moisture inside, right? And it's going to destroy any kind of infectious little nasties that are in there.
Yes.
Second of all,
syphilis didn't work that way.
Oh God, yeah. Tell me about it. Second of all, it comes down to really, cooking time. If you want it like rare, okay, fine. Great. If you want it medium rare, you want that little bit of toughness to it, but you want that nice succulent softness in the middle. Yeah, you want it medium rare. If you want it really well done, like you want that tough piece of meat just chewing on it for like an extended period of time, like what seems like maybe a half an hour. All right, fine. But, you're going to find that you're going to be a little bit bunched up in the end. So, that's one thing. Inspect your meat. Make sure it's free of any parasites, and make sure it's very well cooked thoroughly, inside and out. Cut it. Take a look at the inside, just like what Canadian Spider-Man did. Cut it open, see if it's well cooked through. And if it's maybe a little bit pink in the middle, like you like a medium rare, well, then you're good to go, pretty much.
Yeah. Andy,
Yes, I had to go take care of the
what
dog.
are some skills guys can learn on cooking meat?
Trial and error. What I would recommend to people. So, if there's something you've never had, I have a friend of mine. He always tells this story about how when he was growing up, he hated steak, and he never liked it until he was dating his wife, and they went out, and she ordered steak, and she was like, "Do you want some?" And I'm like, "No, I don't like steak." Like, really? How come? Like, I just don't like steak. And well, the only steak he ever had was what his mother would cook, and his mother cooked it the way his father liked it, which was cooked to death. So he tried it the way it was supposed to be cooked, like as God intended for it, not like some barbaric destruction of, taking all the moisture out of it. And he actually enjoyed it. So try things a couple different ways. Just because you had something one time and it tasted like shit, give it a shot with somebody else cooking it. Find out a place that's got a really good steak or has a good reputation for it, and try it out. I've had friends that have come into town. They've tried like an actual cheesesteak, and like, wow, this isn't like the Philly cheesesteak I got in the frozen section. Like, no, it's rather different. But there's a lot of different ways that you can think something is done the way it's supposed to. Check out a couple different recipes. Like, just because you tried something and you didn't necessarily like it, and learn to use your spices. Learn how they complement each other. If you have something that's a little too bitter, like mix in something that's going to have a little sweetness to it, like maybe some basil or something like that. That can help you offset some of the balance out the flavors a little bit.
Yeah.
And you'll find that, like, in my experience, men generally make better cooks than women, because for men, it's like sex and food. It's like you don't want either. You can live off both of them, but like you really want to enjoy them. And for women, I think it's kind of food's kind of like just a necessity. Like, yeah, let's cook it and get it done with. But you really want to jazz it up, so when you eat it, it's like it's really a mouth-watering experience, and you want to make it as enjoyable and worthwhile as possible.
Yeah. Canadian Spider-Man. What are some skills guys can learn on cooking meat?
I'm going to focus on fish. Because
Okay.
let me tell you, last winter, I think I spent the winter in Mexico on the West Coast, and I was able to get fish right from the fishermen, right from the ocean. And the hostel I was staying at in Zihuatanejo had a barbecue, and I'd just go and get the fishermen to cut the slab off. I picked up the fish, they cut a slab off. It was 200 pesos, like $15. I'd take it and barbecue it. And the big thing with fish, do not overcook it. I would rather have fish that is slightly undercooked than overcooked. Overcooked fish just is horrible. And learn to take it off a couple of minutes before you think it's done, because it will still continue to cook because of the moisture content. And you don't need to, with a saltwater fish like tuna, you don't need to add a lot of salt because it's already salty by nature of it being a saltwater fish.
Yeah.
That would be my tip: is don't overcook your fish. And but things like liver, organ meat, like this. Okay, this is what I just cooked for you here. Well, I cooked it for me with the Grey Poupon mustard on it. But this liver, I'm not gonna undercook that because it's an organ meat. Even though I know the deer was just down the road and I know exactly what they were eating and they're local. Because it's an organ, I'm gonna make sure it's cooked all the way through. You can tell. I'm just gonna pick it up with my hands. Fuck it. But that is pretty cooked all the way through. That liver.
and it's a little on the medium side. It's not well done, but organ meat in general, you want to make sure you do fully cook it, and fish, don't overcook it. And same as kangaroo, oddly enough, do not overcook kangaroo. If you find yourself cooking kangaroo, do not overcook it. It'll be horrible.
Duly noted. Ordy.
Yes. Hi. How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
So,
yeah.
So in my, I would have to say, in addition to everything that's been said too, you need to trim your meat. Take that extra couple minutes to get the silver off of it, knowing how much fat to cut and how much to leave, because fat is flavor.
And he doesn't mean circumcision.
Right.
Be clear about that.
No.
Just the tip and then some. But yeah, no, just understanding that, not all fat is bad, and just look at the ratio of how big a piece of meat you have. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to leave that bit of fat there because that's going to melt off when it's cooking. And that's just going to be happy goodness right there. The other thing too, Steve, going with what you said on cooking fish, especially down in Mexico, cooking with citrus. If you use a lot of lime and orange and stuff like that, you don't need to cook the fish long at all. It's because it's already, because the acid and it already cooks it. So you're just there warming it up basically. Yeah,
you're chemically cooking it.
So So those are the two things. Is don't be afraid to cook with citrus, especially with your fish.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's also good for chicken too, because you can get a nice crust on the chicken before you even cook it. If you're doing like a margarita chicken or something like that.
Yeah, these gentlemen have hit all the points that I was thinking, but and especially the citrus thing, I do that with my fish, because if you do overcook it, I'll read it and see if it gets so flaky and just falls apart if it's overcooked fish. It's just, so horrible. So, but yeah, I do.
Yeah, you might as well just gone to bandit camps at that point.
Exactly. I'll direct this to younger men going out on their own that have just come out. Teach yourself, and like Andy said, trial and error. Teach yourself. You mess up a couple times. As long as it's not too expensive, nothing wrong with that. Try different things, try different sauces, different ways to cook. If you have access to different like grills or pans or any different, try different things. That's how I've learned to find what I like. Different ways to cook, different sauces and stuff. I like the gentleman. I sometimes will lather it depending on what it is, but other times I don't want. I want to taste the meat on its own. So like, just have fun, as long as you're not killing. And like he said too, the organ meat. I'll reiterate that. I eat kidney a lot too. And you definitely want to make sure liver, mostly liver. I eat a lot of liver. Always cook that. Make sure that's never, want that thoroughly through, because again, as he said, organ meat is very important to make sure that's cooked straight through. I'd say chicken, but according to him, you can actually have raw chicken now.
Carcinogens.
Yeah.
That was the carcinogens build up in the liver. They're in the organs.
Exactly.
Including the eyeballs. I've had tuna eyeball once in Tokyo.
Really? Never had that. No.
I would like to add one thing.
Yeah, Sandy.
When you are getting help in the kitchen, make sure you are very explicit with your instructions, because it can have bad consequences if you're not. Like, for example, one time I told my son to take the roast out of the refrigerator and put it in the oven, and I assumed, because my son's pretty smart, made his own computer and all this stuff, I assumed he'd be smart enough to take the plastic wrap off the beef.
Oh.
So now I make sure that I'm very, very explicit with my instructions.
See, and I thought that was going to go with you didn't actually turn the oven on. So that's kind of work.
Yeah.
I think with me, Andy's pretty much nailed it, was trial and error. Like, you're not going to get it right you're not going to get it perfect the right time. And I don't think there's any perfect way to cook meat. It's just your personal preference of how you like it. You know the exact moment to take it out. Like when I do fried chicken, my wife doesn't do fried chicken now. Sometimes she will if I'm working and I don't have the time to do it. But she'll make me do it because she's told me, I don't know how you do it. You got the chicken down right. I can do it to where it's not dry. Like a turkey, I got that in the bag. And I'm pretty damn good at it. And it's it comes down to practice. Practice, like, it's okay to go online, look at people who make food, and then talk to friends who know how to cook. Like, I don't know how to roast an entire pig. I'm gonna go talk to someone about it. I'm like, hey, I want to learn, or I want to learn actually. Like, if I'm going hunting and I bag a moose, sorry, people who like mooses, mooses, gooses, and geeses,
It tastes good.
or or elk or bison. There's a certain way that you have to prep the meat. I don't know that stuff. I want to learn that. So eventually, I'm going to start getting into actual hunting for my own food, so I can actually have
Dude,
really good.
Come on up.
Yep.
I
Come on
know.
up. I got a place
I
for
was
you.
just about to say, this
I
is
know.
where you call Canadian Spider-Man.
Trust me,
I can
Canadian
hook you up,
Spider-Man. If
man.
we were hanging out hunting some animals, like, yeah, it's
We have to
get
go a
to know
kilometer down the
someone.
road. That's
Yeah,
half a mile
it's
for you, Mary.
get to know people who know how to prep the meat, prep
many
the
drafts
food
is
for
that?
you. Learn it. It's you're gonna get something out of it. It's
Mhm.
when a guy finally figures out, hey, I know how to cook this the way I like it. There's something like accomplishment. Like example is when I learned actually how to fix the pipes, water pipes from not leaking. I
Mhm.
felt a sense of accomplishment. Like, wow, I did this. I fixed this. What else can I do? The same thing with meat. It's the cool thing about beef, like steak and stuff, you can have it rare. It's okay. You're not it's unlike chicken, you're not going to get all these crazy things that are just going to screw up your stomach. Like sometimes, but with steak, if you as long as you cook it, you're good. And sometimes I've had some steak where I just ate it right out of the bag, a grass-fed steak, and I was perfectly fine. But it's a little risky. You don't know. I wouldn't recommend it just because depending on your stomach and your diet. But one of the things I've learned is it's the lion diet and the carnivorous diet, which is what I'm thinking about doing. Is the carnivorous diet where you just eat all meat. You don't do anything else. It's just you don't eat anything else.
Yeah.
You don't drink sugar. I think is that the Andy? Is the carnivorous diet the one where you skip out on the sugar and the carb like soda and all that stuff, or is that the lion diet?
Well, it's the same thing. The lion diet is was coined by Michaela Peterson because it's basically a carnivore diet. You're just eating meat and fats. Um, you're cutting out all your carbs. Your body goes into ketosis and burns ketones instead of carbohydrates.
Right.
Yeah, and you have to, really, our bodies are designed for this because if you think about it, like unless you're living near the equator, and there's not a whole lot of land near the equator, actually. Most of it's mostly ocean right around the equator. Um, you're not going to get foods that are harvested. You have a 3 month period out of the year where you can get harvested fruits and vegetables. Other than that, you'd be foraging for things, and every other animal is in competition for those same things as well. Um, so our ancestors probably ate a lot of meat and did a lot of hunting. Um,
Yes.
and our bodies are designed for that kind of stuff. Sugar is not naturally occurring except for very brief periods in the growing season. So when you overindulge in sugar, like this, the problem with obesity right now, because our bodies are becoming insulin resistant because it has to produce so much insulin in the pancreas to compete with the amount of sugar that is going into our system. And if you cut back on that, and you can, like, if you eat a nutritious meal, like red meat is the most nutritious meat outside of beef liver, something like that, which personally I find kind of nasty unless it's in its natural form of German wurst, like liverwurst and stuff like that. Then I could eat it.
Yeah.
But uh, liver and onion, it's not my bag. So I'll stick with the the muscle meat of it. But yeah, you want to get into eating fats and if you're eating a nutritious meat, you'll get a lot of your most of your nutrients from that meat. chicken does not have nearly the amount of nutritional value as red meat, so you'll probably have to supplement with some kind of over-the-counter supplements for vitamins and things like that. But it's a great diet. I've been doing something similar to myself for the last couple of weeks now, and since I quit eating bread, although the last week's been kind of rough, and I've cheated a little bit because of some sugary snacks.
You? So
Yeah.
for me, I'm thinking about
Birthday
doing the carnivorous diet. Just with, I've noticed when I love pasta, and I found a sauce. Here's the thing: I was going to do the carnivorous diet, and then I stumbled across this pasta. It has a little spice to it.
Right.
Let me tell you guys, it's really hard to kick pasta when you find a sauce that's really good.
True.
I mean, Gary and Andy can vouch for this. I eat like a fat 16-year-old girl. I really do. Which means not to bash on a 16-year-old girl who's fat. It just means I eat a crap ton of food.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. It's to cut things that I'm interested to see what the carnivorous diet. I want to do it for 30 days just to see what would happen. I have been eating a lot more red meat, and I do see a difference.
You will get about 2 weeks of oily shits, so don't stay too far away from the toilet, because as your body takes over.
Yeah, that yeah. Yeah.
And just
And
quick
you
note,
don't
if you
need
don't
vitamin
mind,
C because you're not processing carbohydrates.
just a quick note on that. If you guys know who Jordan Peterson is, he actually did the carnivorous diet, and he said it cured ailments that he's had for years. He got off of pills and everything,
Yes.
and he did it for a long period. And
Well,
him
his
and his
daughter
daughter
started it first, Tom. His daughter did it first. She's
and a lot of ailments went with her, and then he started, and then they were off pills and everything. It's like wow, and that's why
I've been eating a lot more meat. Yeah.
Well, it's also like
Less processed.
a big part. I also believe is when it's an elimination thing. When you're eating exclusively one thing, you're eliminating a lot of the crap that's put in the food. Like I try not to eat anything that comes in a box. Nothing comes in a box. Nothing's prepackaged or anything like that because it's crap. Now, I'm not like super strict with this stuff. If I'm going to have a slice of pizza or a sandwich, I'm going to enjoy it because you're here. You get a limited number of days on the planet. Enjoy something good. Now, when I've noticed my skin, I stopped eating bread because I was getting eczema breakouts on my fingertips, which is really a pain in the ass when you're trying to sculpt. So I started off with like, all right, I was talking to a friend of mine who had a similar problem. He stopped eating bread and it went away. So, all right, let me try this. Well, I was expecting my skin to heal, and which it has to a great extent. But my cravings for sweets went down. My need for a nap in the afternoon was eliminated. I wasn't as hungry as I thought I would be, and all of the mucus, like usually anyone who's talked to me for any amount of time will notice how much I used to clear my throat and cough. And that's been like, it's cut to about like maybe 15 to 20% of what it was. So that was all from an allergy to bread, which really sucks because I absolutely love bread. So I'm trying out a couple things with sourdough bread is lower in gluten because I'm trying to figure out what it is about the bread that I'm allergic to, because it might not be the gluten in it. It might be something else. But there's a lot of additives. You guys up in Canada, your rules on food are a lot more strict than ours are. Like, if you look at Heinz ketchup, for you guys, you've only got like 3 or 4 ingredients. Ours have like 16, and most of them you can't pronounce.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
true. There is something I can probably send your way, Andy. So that might help.
So my wife makes her own bread, and I can ask her. She's a scientist, even though she's a biologist. I'm like, look, you're a scientist. I almost said Scientology, and I stopped myself. She's not a Scientology, I
That's
did
not
get
the same.
asked what church did you go to. I said Scientology, the Church of Scientology, and they all just looked at me like, "What?" I was like, "No."
You got a Tom Cruise poster.
Yeah, I have all Tom Cruise's movies, but I'm gonna challenge myself to do 30 months. It might be in July. I just have to put myself actually to do it and to do more meat.
Right.
What I'm probably gonna end up doing is more meat, less bread, because I love bread, like garlic bread.
Good.
You put a garlic bread in front of my face, I'm
And
gonna eat it.
pretzels. The big pretzels too.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
like I like the can of green beans. Oh yeah. When you heat those up, man, that brings that's like a personal thing. But I'm gonna challenge myself to do it might be in June where I do 30 days of just eating mostly meat and mainly red meat. Because I've also heard that red meat actually is beneficial to your body. It gives you the proteins you need. Because we've all grown up where you can't have the fat on the meat, or you can't have butter, you can have salt, you can't have all this stuff. Turns out, if you have salt,
Wrong.
like proportionally, if you have the fat on a steak, or if you have the butter, it's good for you. Like you have to portion it out. So I'm gonna try that. It's gonna be interesting. Watch all my allergies. I did learn this before we get to tip of the hat. I learned this. If any kid who has a peanut allergy, I know how you can get rid of peanut allergy. It's none of the stupid pharmaceutical little jabs or any of whatever you have to do for a peanut allergy. When you have a baby, you feed them a little bit of peanut butter. That's how you get rid of. I didn't know this, and I'm like watching a Netflix show, and
That's
I'm
how
like,
you prevent it. You can't get rid of it.
right?
But-
Yeah, okay, I stand corrected. Yeah, prevent it.
The big problem is though that like you had a lot of doctors come along and tell people that things they had done for generations. Oh, you can't do that. That'll and parents listen to them instead of realizing, hey, wait a second. We all drank out of garden hoses and we're fine. But today's kids, it's not like a double sealed bottle of water and and it's got the right pH balance and my child's not drinking that. Like it's
because the grandparents aren't in the house anymore.
But that's the thing. But a lot of this stuff is like it's allergies that are because you're not exposed to it. One of the things for allergy season, if you take a teaspoon a day of find out what you're allergic to, and if you can get a strain of honey that the bees fed off of that plant, that will help your allergy resistance to that plant. So there's a lot of things like that and we there's so much out there that's like that we swore it was like, oh, this is the thing, this is the protocol, how you have to do things, diet, exercise, and they're not just a little bit wrong, they're completely wrong. And you got to be aware of this stuff. Like every time you listen to an expert, stop and think, like there's a lot of people who are experts and they turned out they were wrong.
Well, I know Lost Wanderer. I'll pull his chat out because I can do that. He said, "Been a big fan of making my own bread on the weekends for me and my son." Here's the thing, I don't even know how you get this off. There we go.
It's there for all time.
I know it's there. It's stuck. We're all there. I rarely even actually use that thing, so I don't know. But like when my wife and we're making home pizza soon, and I pray to God she uses ciabatta. Ciabatta bread for pizza is, oh man, dude, that's a winner. Chicago deep dish. Screw you. I'm going with ciabatta.
That's lasagna. Oh yeah,
I know. But
hey, a couple quick things. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you can finish. I was you first, ladies first. It's 2024, nice. Baby.
All right, so one with the allergies. One things that worked for me is there's a program out there. I think it's Indian. It's called NAET, NAET. That worked really well for. Yeah, no, that worked. I tried everything else. I'm allergic to a specific kind of pine tree, and it's only in the area. And this was the only thing that ever cleared it up. So that, I mean, it worked for me. It may be completely psychosomatic, but it worked. But before we go to Tick for the Hat, while we've been talking about meat, I want to ask everyone, what's your favorite side?
Ooh.
Oh,
Probably asparagus.
Okay.
Well,
huh.
okay. So if we're talking vegetables. I like better stuff, asparagus or Brussels sprouts. But I usually saute Brussels sprouts with some roasted red peppers and balsamic vinegar. But if I'm having macaroni and cheese, my wife's macaroni and cheese, she makes incredible macaroni and cheese and meatballs, not together, just separately. But or
I don't know,
real
sound kind of good together.
real Polish pierogies. They're that's the way to go. You get them, and I'll boil them up, and then take them and pan fry them in some butter. God, they're so good. And you can get them in all. There's a place called the Pierogi Kitchen over in Manayunk, and they actually FedEx stuff out and deliver them, and it's actually very cheap. They're only about $1 a piece. And God, they're so good.
All right. Canadian Spider-Man.
What an excellent question. What an excellent question.
So what's your answer? The garden.
I love macaroni, lobster macaroni and cheese. So if I got macaroni and cheese as a side, I'd mix the lobster in. Lobster mac and cheese is delicious.
You can just shut up to Spider-Man right now.
If I'm talking if I'm talking a steak, it's got to be the fried onions and mushrooms.
Tom.
For me, mostly something side of a good piece of meat. It's mashed potatoes. I just love it. You can dip the meat into it too, and and sometimes some gravy added to it, and just so good.
Mike.
Nice.
Let's see, something good with a piece of meat. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say mashed potatoes too, like creamy mashed potatoes, and maybe some Brussels sprouts along with that, and probably even a Caesar salad.
Yeah,
my dog is all like, "What about me? What about me?" Anything
and a nice cold beer.
How about you?
Yep.
Who, me?
Yes.
Yeah, you.
Yes.
So I found out it's steamed. So there's a guy at the lodge. He taught me actually how to do broccoli, steamed broccoli, and then saute it properly. He's an actual chef.
Ooh.
So what I do with broccoli is I'll steam it and saute it and put garlic powder in with a crap ton of butter. That's how I do it. Or if I want to do mashed potatoes, which I'm gonna have to do a bit like a full bag of potatoes. I love mashed potatoes without the gravy. I can do with that. You don't need the gravy.
Yeah.
It's just.
What do you mean you don't need the gravy?
I can do mashed potatoes where you don't need the gravy. It's that good.
Yeah. Just a little bit of butter. And that's about it.
With cream cheese? With cream cheese, I could see. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, with butter. You can do it with cream cheese.
Butter is good too. Yeah.
So what I do is how I do my mashed potatoes is I'll cut them up into quarters.
Right.
And then I'll put them in a blender, like a mixer. Sorry, yeah, a mixer. And pretty much I own the mixer, my wife's mixer. And then she hates me when I do this. I was like, this is mine for the rest of the night. You don't own this. Even though I bought it for you for your birthday. It's mine. And I'll put
Why do you think you bought
almost a half a stick of butter in this thing. And then I'll add garlic powder, which I don't ask me the measurements. I don't know. I just look. Yeah, that looks about right. And then the same with salt and pepper. You don't need it at all. No gravy. It's that good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mine's
a
pretty
good
much
question,
the same
Woody.
one. Yeah, with me, I'm
mashed
going with
potatoes
Canadian
and
Spider-Man.
broccoli.
I am all about sauteed mushrooms and Bermuda onions. Get those red onions in there with the
What are
sauteed
Bermuda
mushrooms.
onions?
Yeah.
That's the red onion.
Mushrooms.
Did you chop them into triangles?
Yeah, exactly. No, the red onion.
You
Those
have to-
called Bermuda onions.
Canadian Spider-Man, you only cook them. You only do them when you're in the Atlantic Ocean. That's the only
Yep.
time you can do those.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
on that
so
note,
that's-
we're gonna
Yeah,
get
mine's mushrooms and onions too.
Ooh, mushrooms and onions. I'm not a big fan of mushrooms, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Hey, Steve, I got to run.
All right, thank you for joining us.
Dad duty
Right.
calls.
Good
See you
seeing
guys.
There you
I'll
go.
catch you next time.
Take care.
Take
All
care.
right.
See you later,
See you,
Andy.
Andy.
On that note, I did put one new name in.
Oh.
Eric, I'll do a shout out to Eric. He hasn't been on here.
You're doing that audio thing again.
Yeah. You're doing the audio thing again.
What?
where
Oh,
you
where it
sound
cuts out?
slightly muted.
Oh,
yeah,
not
back.
completely.
You're good.
Oh, there
Look,
we go.
guys,
There we go.
I know I'm bald and have Asperger's. Let's just, just doesn't mean I'm. There you go. Wait, here's a question.
Yeah.
Canadian Spider-Man, are you actually going to drink? You are. You're a man. Here's the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a little tangent. Before we get to tip of the hat, you're gonna.
Okay.
You will watch my.
I wish I had
Here's the
an outline right
thing.
now.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna say this right now. I will drink a Bud Light. After Dana
Well.
White has allowed them to be a sponsor for UFC, and then his response to the whole backlash of it, I'm on Bud Light side now. They're good. They're good, guys. Don't worry.
Really?
Not just bullshit.
Not a light beer fan myself. He's-
You think you
now
know a
it's
guy.
quick one.
Dude, that's
No.
funny, man. I love you, Canadian Spider-Man. That's awesome. It's not the best beer, but at least you're not gonna be doing.
Ooh.
All right. So I did
Yeah.
put a new name in here. Tip of the hat, where we go around the table and we give a positive about the person. It can be a politician. It's usually someone of some type of importance, an athlete, not so much. Yeah, you put that in that mug. You now, so I pulled it out of this trench rat, which I still need to make the hat and do an auction for the hammer.
Yeah,
For
you
Eleanor
keep
Hammer.
talking about that.
I know. I just got to get time to actually do it. It's because I got to make a mold and a casting. There's a lot of process to doing that. But I only have actually 3 names.
Do it
So
right.
we're going to
Take
do
the
all
time and do
3
it right.
tonight. Why? Because I'm the host and the creator of the show, and we're going to do the 3 names.
Well, fine.
Actually, where did the other name go? I'll look for it. We'll do 4, maybe 3. I don't know. Up next, Chris William. Here's another funny thing. I should look up these names before I knew who Chris William. He's a podcaster. Okay, so does anybody know who Chris Williams is? He's a podcaster. If not, we can skip him.
No.
No clue.
Okay, we'll
You
skip
mean the
him.
actor?
Never heard of her.
Check out Chris William, and then we'll put him back in the hat.
Okay.
He's a cool
Chris
guy.
William.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Ice Cube.
Yeah, I think I heard of him.
You have? That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Canadian Spider-Man.
Police.
Anything positive about Chris or Ice Cube? Sorry, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that we as men can look up to Ice Cube for is the way that he is a father to his son. From what I've seen, obviously I don't spend a lot of time with him personally, but I've seen interviews with his son and him both together and separate,
and I know that his son Seamus, I believe, is that his real name? What's his son's name?
I don't
Ice
know off
Cube's
the
real
top of
name
my
is,
head.
yeah, but his son is looks similar and is a chip off the old block. And so when they did a movie where he got the opportunity to play his father in sort of a a real life movie about him growing up, and Ice Cube was saying, don't think that just because he's my son, he got an easy ride to play me in the movie and be the star. And his son was sitting there and saying, no, actually, if anything, he was harder on me than anybody else, even though I'm the natural choice. I mean, I look like him, I walk like him, I talk like him. That made it even harder, he said. And I guess that, because it's so easy these days, especially, it's so easy as a parent, and I was only a parent for a year. Um, I can't really tell, much about it, but I know that a lot of people take the easy way out, and whatever the easy choice is, just make the kid happy, throw him in front of a video or whatever. But Ice Cube, you can tell that discipline was not a stranger to his household, and his son obviously grew up with discipline, even though with the money and fame that Ice Cube had, and being his son, as especially at the time when he was growing up, he could have had anything he wanted, but it looks like he had to earn what he's got for the most part. And at least Ice Cube, as much as possible, has tried to do that, and is very vocal about it, and not shy to say that. So I think that's something as men that we can look to him for, as a father who's not afraid to make his kids work, and know that every life takes effort. If you want value out of life, it takes effort.
Yeah.
You get what you put in.
Ordy.
He doesn't back down. He has some very interesting opinions. And when he gets blowback on them, he doesn't backpedal at all. He doesn't worry about being canceled. I mean, yeah, he's got fuck you money, so not a problem. But it's just like, yeah, you know what? I said it.
Money.
Yeah, we all want fuck you money.
Yeah, I know.
But no,
I
it's
know,
like he's
right?
all, no, I said it. I meant it when I said it, and fuck you. So that's it. That's aside from that, not a lot. But I'm gonna go with that one. He's unapologetic about his opinions.
Tom, who looks confused to know who Ice Cube is.
Oh no,
It's not good. It's not Goody Cube Jr.
No. I love the NWA.
It's the other guy.
F the Police, love that song. Straight Outta Compton, amazing movie. I went to the theater to see it.
Oh,
and
man.
his son,
Neighbors with
O'Shea,
afros, yeah.
O'Shea, what's his name? He played him to a T. And let's be honest, Friday, brilliant film. Like he is so underrated as an actor, first off. But as he said, a man who stands by his convictions. And if you watch Straight Outta Compton, it was really close. They say some of the moves here or there, they didn't left out some stuff, but he came from the streets of Compton and made it to where he has the FQ money now. And he did it on his own with Dre and them, but he, I find, was a genius in the rap industry. Like in the 80s, I used to be a breakdancer.
He would have made it no matter what.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
He was so talented, though, and his music was amazing, and his video styles, and then went on to do acting and funny. It's like I said, Friday's
He's
one
a
of my
good
all-time
actor.
favorite.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's a
And
good
then
actor.
his son actually is
No, he's got all
footsteps.
comedic timing.
Oh, he does. And like I said, Friday's one of my all-time favorites. But he's a man, like it was said, he stands by his convictions, and he doesn't waver. When he has an opinion, he will stick to it and not move. And that's why I've always admired him for that. Plus, how he's made it so huge in the industry, and just from working hard from the streets. It's something you could admire. Straight Outta Compton's a brilliant film. Watching their story, him and Dre, and how Dre's worth billions now, and he's up there too. So,
Yep.
Mike.
Yeah, I see. I mean, pretty much everybody here said what. I'm muted.
No, you're good.
No, okay.
I was gonna make a joke, and then you were talking. I was like, I'll just let the joke pass.
What are you
okay,
saying?
fine. Yeah.
'Cause you're probably the oldest one right now, and you're like, "Who's this Ice Cube? Is it Ice T?"
Who's
NWA.
Ice T? Ice Cube, whatever. Yeah, in a world where everything was like ISIS, Ice that, Ice T, pretty much like stood apart from like
Vanilla Ice.
everybody else.
Ice.
You know, I mean, God. But I mean, yeah, here's a guy that basically started out with nothing and became something. You know, and he's never forgotten the roots of where he came from. And yeah, like I mean, what everybody said before, you know, I mean, when he knows something or he's got an opinion about something, he does not relent. He does not give any ground. You know, yeah, there may be a few conspiracy things that might be questionable, but hey, we've all been there. But yeah, I mean, here's a dude that literally came from nowhere and made it somewhere, basically, in an overall type of way. And yeah, his comedic timing is so good. It is so underrated. You know, I mean, I know he's played a lot of serious stuff, but God, dude is a funny guy. Like a funny guy. I would have never thought that he would be able to like pull off any kind of comedic role whatsoever, but he does, and it's great.
Yeah.
And
So-
one kid, can I say just quickly,
Yeah.
NWA, one of the greatest super rap groups ever. Them and Wu-Tang. Those guys, I mean, Eazy-E, sadly
Oh, yeah.
passed. He would have been great. Dre was a beast. He's worth billions now with Dre beats. And Cube, like, they were one of the greatest super rap groups ever. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Them and the Wu-Tang. Like, wow.
So, before I get to my answer, do you guys think that when Ice Cube tells a joke, do you think he's still being serious because of his face? It's a
That's
yes
the part
or
that
no.
makes it
That's a
funnier,
good
I
question.
find. Because like
Yeah,
in Friday,
yeah.
he plays such a serious character, but it's hilarious. Him and Tucker just, the dynamic is just, oh
So-
my gosh.
So
I haven't
the thing
seen
about
that
Ice
movie. I need to see that.
Oh, you
Friday's
gotta go
brilliant.
see it.
Just so good. Damn.
So the thing about Ice Cube is with his I learned he's a funny guy from 21 Jump Street. It's
Yeah.
the remakes. Hilarious. I
Are
like
we
those
there
are one of my favorite remakes or reboots. He's actually really funny because he plays it so straight and he's
I
just
forgot about
his
Harvey
face.
Birdman.
He looks pissed. And I watched the clip where he is in character and he had to stop because this lady's like, oh, yeah, whatever it is. And he's like, I'm filming here. And it was just funny. Like, his comedic timing is so dry and so serious. You don't know if he's joking or not.
Yeah.
The thing about Ice Cube is, I got Goody, whatever that guy from
Cuba
Pearl
Gooding
Harbor.
Jr.
Yeah, that guy. I got him stuck in my face now because Cuba. Cuba's in that name. Cuba. But the thing about Ice Cube is he does not care what you think.
Nope.
He'll say, I like when men are unapologetic. It means they're going to stand by what they believe. And they'll also say, hey, look, like, I've been wrong on this show multiple times and I stand corrected on a lot of things. And I like the way he approaches things and how he raises his kids. It's like, look, I have FU money, but I'm going to make you work at it. So the last name up here is Post Malone.
Ooh.
Canadian
Post
Spider-Man.
Malone.
Anything masculine about Post Malone? Someone's looking at him right now. I
Yeah.
wonder who it is. Mike.
No.
He's a Post Malone is a singer, and at first I thought he was Canadian, but I'm pretty sure he's American actually. But he's a
from
nice
Texas,
guy,
I think.
so that's but he's super nice. That's why I automatically thought he was Canadian. But he's, you know what, something masculine. He's bringing back the art of wearing long hair for men and making it look masculine. I think he
That's
does it
not
well.
men.
So that's something.
That's not long hair to me is not masculine.
He does it
Vikings,
well.
yes, they can be. Vikings.
Unless you're Vikings, unless you're
That's what
And that's sort of the style that he's sort of going with, right?
All right. Continue, Canadian Spider-Man.
No, that was it.
Were you done? You were done?
I like his
All right.
music. I like you can
Hey, Scott?
you can definitely dance to it.
Yeah.
Although men don't
Wardy.
really dance.
I know you're Amish. Do you know who Post Malone is?
I'm familiar with him. I've seen him on some Jay's 2 Cents videos when they were building a computer, and that's about it. So
I
yeah.
forgot he did do that. Tom.
I'm not a huge fan of his own music, but little known fact, he's an actually really excellent guitarist. I've heard him play with other bands. He actually played the guitar really well. Really good guitarist. So, but I don't know much about him personally. He seems like a chill guy when I've talked to him, seen him in interviews and stuff. He seems pretty cool. But yeah, for a very unknown guitarist, like, whoa, he's really good. So,
all right. Mike, since you probably looked him up.
Actually, no, I didn't.
I just.
Oh, you did? It was you, Tom?
I get him and Machine Gun. I got him and Machine Gun Kelly mixed up. I was like, no, I can't stand Machine Gun Kelly. He's an idiot. I was like, no,
he's a dingleberry.
Yeah,
he's a retard.
Mike, so anything positive about Post Malone?
Yes. Definitely one thing wholeheartedly. I had no idea that he was Shia LaBeouf's twin rapper brother.
Huh?
Really?
He looks like Shia LaBeouf as a rapper.
I get
Swear
that.
to God.
I guess
he does. You know, if a rapper had to learn off the best for a lookalike, yeah, it's Post Malone.
All right, I'll go.
There you go.
I never thought about that way. All right. I did see a recent footage of Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
At the red carpet, he looks pretty dapper, dude. He's cleaned up. He cleaned himself. He always looks like he smells really dirty.
Kind of. And
it's
fun
just,
fact,
I don't.
LaBeouf is French for the beef.
Yes.
Oh,
there we go.
Oh. So
fun fact
the thing
for
about
episode.
Girls like
I know, right? Perfect
Yeah.
timing.
Yeah.
The thing
Little
about
known
Post
fact.
Malone is he's very libertarian. He's I didn't know about this. To me, he is the Johnny Cash of rap. Because he plays country. He just did a country song with, I forget who it was recently. He comes from a country background. And he looks like your typical white wankster. Like, I want to be Eminem and black and blah, blah, blah. He's got skills and talents. I love listening to his stuff. He has a lot of heart, and there's a video on YouTube where he talks about the government, and I'm like, I love this guy. I want to get to know this guy so much, even though you smell like Shia LaBeouf sometimes. Not smells, but looks like it. It's
gonna say
he's all tatted. But I know some people that actually know him personally, and they all say this guy is such a humble guy. He comes from a background of just an old country style because his dad works for the Dallas Cowboys, which, you know, I'm not going to judge him on that, but we'll pray for you. The Patriots, you can go with that.
We go for white rappers. I'll go for Tom McDonald, but that's a different story. Yeah, I think
okay. I'm gonna put you on the don't be that guy. You've been simping for that guy. You're gonna get hit.
He inspires me.
I've been waiting, man.
So.
Tom, I've been waiting. Just because your name is Tom.
No.
You're gonna get
Canadian.
hit, and we're gonna embarrass you. I like Tom McDonald, but let's be honest here, man. I've seen your tweets. And they're a little simping.
Hey, I don't care.
Know?
That's the name of the song, and I don't care what people think. So
that's the thing. You don't care. You're just all like, I'll still tweet it out. I don't care. You've earned your ball busting, that's for sure.
Go ahead.
Michael Moore. Doesn't he look like Michael Moore? Michael Moore. You're gonna.
Hey, I must wait, damn it.
But on that note, I want to thank everyone being here. This has been a fun episode. Hanging back, talking about.
Hey, one last thing, Steve. I want you to try something. Steve, I want you to try something for me. Your next tri-tip, rub it in Dijon mustard, and then let it sit in the fridge for a couple hours.
I heard about that. I've yet
That's how
to
I do mine.
that.
You guys get me
I've
going.
heard. Okay, I'm gonna do that next time,
All
which might be on my birthday. We'll find out. We have a $5 rant.
Okay,
Ooh.
before you go, Steve, can I ask
That's
everybody?
Steven Seagal.
Hold
hey.
up, Tom
Good to see
McDonald.
you.
That Steven Seagal did a $5 rant. Said
Brilliant.
Comic Crusader smells like cabbage. You know,
That's
He
partially
probably-
true.
It's the Ukrainian in him.
you might be right.
And German.
You look like a Cabbage Patch Kid.
I
What's
do.
your question there, Tom McDonald?
Everybody here on the panel, has anybody made deep fried turkey?
Yeah.
Oh, damn! I want
I
to do
want to
that.
try that someday.
Oh.
I've never tried that. I heard it's amazing. So
Yeah.
I
Yes.
heard if
Very,
you
very
do it with
dangerous.
cement back.
Yeah, I heard it's
like if
dangerous,
your
yeah.
background, do it on cement
yeah,
Yeah.
because you're not gonna burn. Because let's be honest here, all 5 of us would burn the living shit out of our backyards. I would do that.
Probably.
I want to do that. I've had deep fried turkey.
never had
I've
it.
never done it myself.
You have to have at least 4 beers before you start. Mandatory.
Those are the
Or
rules.
2 shots of bourbon.
There you go.
Yeah,
Fat
no, my
Steven
dad,
Seagal-
years ago, before he passed, right when the turkey fryers started coming out, he got one at Costco, and it was fantastic. We never used it again. Such a pain in the ass.
Yes.
Here's the
Yes.
thing, Fat Steven Seagal. I know you're from Canada. There's a thing
Yes.
that we do in America called deep fried turkey, and it's God's gift, like tri-tip to mankind. It's really Here's the other thing. The only way you can do it properly and learn is you have a firefighter next to you.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, it can be dangerous.
Because you're gonna burn. Here's the thing: go on YouTube, look up deep fried turkey fails. You'll understand
Yeah.
why. It's the most
doubt.
dangerous thing you can possibly do.
It's yeah. Yeah.
Mike Lorber, just because you have German in you doesn't mean
Aerosol
I'm kidding.
grease.
On that note, I
Okay.
want to thank everyone who is a part of this episode. This was a lot of fun. Thank you, Canadian Spider-Man, for coming up with the idea and getting us to where we are. You're a bastard for cooking all the good things. I want that.
Great.
Oh man,
You can
know.
smell it too, eh? It's like,
Man.
oh,
I know.
Such a
I
great
can
show.
smell it and
Yeah.
taste it.
Yeah.
Meat.
look good.
And then Fat Steven Seagal said, "I got Steve's dyslexia." I see what you did there.
Mm.
Let's go, Brandon. Anyways, this is this has been a fun episode. I really enjoy having the people: Andy, Orty, Canadian Spider-Man, Michael, Mike Moore, Tom McDonald. Tom, I'm just gonna bust your balls for the rest of the. You know what?
Okay.
You've earned it. I love you, man. I love everyone on here. Next week, we are going to talk about leadership. I had a friend of mine that I used to work with. He brought that question up when we were at the bar watching this, one of the NBA playoffs, which, by the way, Celtics won Game 1. If you're a Lakers fan, fuck you.
Called the Celts.
It's Celts. The
Yeah.
Celts,
Celts.
everybody. I had a friend of mine who came up with a topic that I love very much: what it is for a man to be a leader. And I loved it so much. I was like, that's going to be the next topic. So next week, we're going to talk about what it is to be a leader. I don't know when we're going to do this. I asked this question because Gary asked me, and because it came down to Doomcock's birthday was last week. My birthday is coming up, and
Nice.
I'm not a big fan of celebrating my birthday just because I'm getting old and I don't care. But with Gary asked me, he's like, would you ever do an episode about your birthday? So idiot of me, decided to ask the people in who've been on the panel, should I do a Rancor Steve birthday episode? And I was praying to God
Yes.
for the answer to be no. Everything
Yes.
turned out to be yes. So in the next couple weeks, I don't know if it's going to be after the weekend of the 10th, 9th, and 11th or before. It might be after. We'll do a birthday episode for me. Even though I don't
10th,
want to,
9th, and 11th.
somewhere around there in that weekend, the 7th, 8th, and 9th. We'll go with that.
Weird.
I'm not a
order, but-
big fan of pushing me on a pedestal. But we're gonna do an episode for my birthday because I guess a bunch of people want to do that. Tony Stark messaged me like, "Yeah, I can come the first hour." I was like, on Tuesday. He's like, "Oh."
Well, would it make you feel better if we roasted you?
Yeah.
Ooh.
The roast of Rancor
Easily.
Steve.
Have you
Roasted
hold up?
birthday.
Time out, guys. Have you? I want to ask you, Canadian Spider-Man, before we close out. How many? Oh crap! Fat Steven Skulls did a $2 rant. Said yes, Steve must jump out of a cake under siege style. Hey, that's not a
Real.
bad idea.
That's good.
It's gonna be a very small cake. But Canadian Spider-Man, how you've been here for almost 2 years on this show?
Yes. Yes.
How many times have I been roasted?
Not
Hardly
enough.
ever.
Every show.
Yeah.
Bull crap. Wait, Ordy, did you say every other show?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I get a dig in
I've
at
been
least once a
roasted.
show.
You know what? Yeah. You know what? Screw it. We'll do a roast for 10 minutes. Come up with your best jokes.
Only
Just
10?
about your age.
Underage. What?
Just about your age. Concerning your age.
Oh, so 37 minutes?
What
Alright.
year were you born?
87.
87. 87. Ooh.
Mm.
Yeah.
Tough
I know the
love.
Berlin
Young
Wall.
whippersnapper.
All right. I have less hair than Mike. All
karate.
right, Tom.
True. It's true.
So we'll do. All right. We'll work it out. We'll do a roast for Rancor Steve for 37 minutes. We'll do that. Whatever. Not like your gal's gonna hurt me. I've heard
I was in
everything.
grade 10
What? Grade 10.
in 87.
You were?
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're not 37. You're
No.
like 80.
I was in grade 10 in 87.
Oh,
So was
I
I.
didn't hear that part. See, my didn't hear that part. Anyways, let me close out, guys.
Thalidomide. They had a lot of thalidomide in 87.
Everyone on the chat
Yeah.
was like, "What's going on?" Here's the beauty, guys. We go on
Fantastic
tangents.
cocaine in '87.
I know.
Yeah.
I never
Vintage.
knew.
The Challenger. Wasn't Challenger in 87?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
86,
I was
87,
just-
yeah.
86, 87. Yeah.
'Cause I was
So
still in
this
high school.
coming
Yeah.
weekend, there is no Lego build. I will be with family, actually celebrating my birthday a few weeks before because my wife's family all decided, hey, let's have birthdays in May and June, and we're all gonna cram that in there. I'm just gonna drink bourbon and whiskey the entire day. I don't care.
Nice.
I'll get drunk. No, but like let me see the cash. So after next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend, or whatever, the weekend in June, I do a podcast called Men of God, and Rob Wright from Pop Culture Breakdown is on that one. And then I think Brandon, the animator guy, and a few other guys want to actually join, where we go through the Bible and everything. And it's kind of cool. So check that out. We did the first episode last weekend. It was fun. So there'll be no streaming of me on this coming weekend just because I'll be actually out of town. I might do a little fun video. We'll find out. Next week for Man-O-Rama will be leadership. How men should be leaders. I think that's gonna be a good one. It might be a two-parter. We'll find out. And then we'll do the Rancor Steve birthday episode the week after 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Yes,
or whatever
we
that
will.
one is. We'll do that one. See, guys, we're planning this before. We're giving behind the scenes. That's what we're doing. Because I can't give up this show. I love this show, guys. I really do. This is the one thing I really enjoy doing. So if anyone wants any updates on any of the shows, you can find me at Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it these days. And DM me. I will send you an invite to either the Lego build or Man-O-Rama on Discord. and that's where I give the updates. And after I give you guys the updates of what we're talking about, and then on X, I'll give the updates of what the show's going to be. So if you want to be a part of the community, ask the panels questions. You can find us. Some of us are on Discords in the group. Yeah. On that note, I want to thank everyone for being here. This is a lot of fun. I'll see you guys next week for a really fun episode. Have a cool background I'm going to do right now for it. And yeah, if you want, go to Not Rancor Steve on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it, and then put your votes in the poll. What is the worst meat? Tofu, 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 tofu.
Oh, decisions.
I know, it's really hard. I really confuse people on this one. But thank you very much. I will see you guys next week. Oh, wait, I got to do a send-off. God, dude. See what happens when you have to be the producer and the host at the same time?
I
It's like
know.
a food park. It makes your brain like hungry just thinking of food.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Where is it? I have one guy who comes on here once a week. What?
I got chili waiting for me.
Oh,
But anyways, I like to have the former president of the United States of goddamn America give us a send-off.
And we say bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Obama, what the fuck?
Bye.